We got a guy. His name is Toby.
Love it. We're back. I'm so pumped.
Welcome home.
I'm so pumped.
Why?
You have a beautiful.
Look at this.
Beautiful looking device.
Look at this.
You know, I'm disappointed though that it doesn't light up.
No, but you know, it's about sleek. It's about you know, blending in, looking sharp. And I got this space grey, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
And I just like it because I feel like I could use my V key again, which is huge.
Yeah.
So that's really
Do you do a lot
nice.
of Command V?
I do so much Command V.
Is that why it fell off?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So the next question everyone's wanting to know, or the answer to, is are we going to step up into iPhone 8 or 10?
There's just no way.
What?
There's just no way. I'm actually thinking I'm going to get a Pixel, but more on that later.
Yeah, no, you won't make the show. You won't make the show.
So we got a nice week in startups this week, a really nice week, but I want to start off with some very huge news in the Australian ecosystem. GetSwift. Have you heard about them?
Explain. Tell me
So
more.
GetSwift is a software as a service company. They do like dispatching for and delivery of like B2B deliveries.
Yep.
Essentially, a few weeks ago, they put their shares under voluntary suspension.
Yeah.
For trading. I guess public companies have disclosure requirements, as you know. And GetSwift kind of realized that it hadn't made the right disclosures.
Oh, wow.
And so this is in relation, they said that they had some like really material contracts, and over the past year and a half, investors have invested a lot of money into their company on the basis that they have these really large contracts.
Uh-oh.
And it's kind of come to light that these contracts don't actually exist, and they claim that they had them on free trials. So people sign up on a free trial to test your product, they're like, sweet, we got the contract for whoever.
Oh boy.
So this is really big.
Are you guys representing these guys?
We're definitely not representing these guys.
Are you representing the opposite? Are you representing the people?
So it's actually a class action being launched against them at the moment for misleading and deceptive conduct, which is a pretty big charge.
Wow.
Because really, the claim is that the investors wouldn't have invested the money if they knew that the contracts didn't exist. But
hold on. So as a lawyer, so I get they've caused a whole bunch of the shit hit the fan, and these guys should be running for cover. As a lawyer, how do you take? I mean, are you taking action? But you're taking action on a company that's going to spend money to defend themselves with the money from the people,
right?
Or they're going to run out of money, and then what are you chasing?
That's right. So a lot of law firms who are dealing in litigation, they'll just ask for the money up front. And they'll say, hey, we're happy to do this for you, but do you kind of have to pay us first in order to defend you?
Yeah, so that's fine. So then they go, okay, here's the money. And then they go, well, you just got sued. And then...
Yeah, like
if there's no money to get, what...
Yeah, I mean, GetSwift might, like, their shares have lost 67% in value since they were unsuspended earlier this week. So that's, what is it, Wednesday? 3 days. 67% loss.
I'm surprised it was only 67.
That's more than $100 million in value in this young company who's IPO'd not recently. So they're a fairly new company. They IPO'd. They didn't disclose what they had to disclose. And I think a lot of tech companies now, they want to go to IPO.
Sure.
They do. They think it's going to be a huge advantage for them. They're going to get a lot of money. They're going to be able to get their product out there to the market much more successfully. But maybe what they don't realize is that they still have a lot of They have a lot more obligations than 100%. Being a private company, and you'd be aware of all this.
Well, I've never traded publicly. Yet to do it. Might have something in the pipe to do it with, but shit, man.
It's full on. So I guess the crazy thing here is that ASIC, who is our regulator here, they're saying that it's really not our fault. We ask companies to disclose these matters. And the idea in Australia is that of self-disclosure. You know, you self-regulate. Each company does it for themselves.
Right.
But if they get caught, the consequences are dire.
Yeah, so let's say that they got an email. I'm not clear on the software that they offer, but let's say I'm at Nike, or I'm at Google. No, maybe not Google because that was.
Let's do Nike.
Yeah, I'm at Nike and I sign up for the free trial. They've gone and said Toby.Scottron at Nike.com. Oh, we just got Nike as a client.
Right.
Wow.
So that's like, that's a pretty huge breach. And personally for me, I wouldn't, as a founder of a company, as a CEO of a company, those are not the types of things that I would know that that's not right.
So we talk about this a lot, actually. I talk with some of my the founders that I'm kind of backing and quarterbacking. We talk about it here as Creative Cubes with our suppliers. I'm sorry, I really don't know what's going on with my contact lens. It comes from the top, man.
Yeah.
This is not middle management or the bottom of the team sort of trying to push these things up. It's culture and direction and leadership comes from the top. So if you've got a shitty company, it's not the people down the bottom. It's the people down the bottom that are like, this is what I do to get paid and make a living and put a roof over my head. It's the people at the top that you need to be going after.
That's it. And so the claim now is against not only the company, but we have something called directors' duties here, which means directors have to act responsibly. They might be going after the directors personally as well.
They should.
Which is huge. There's one of the co-founders is an ex-AFL player. He's lost a lot of money in this. And so I think this will be interesting to see how ASIC responds, I guess, to these newly IPO'd companies, where they're going to be like micromanaging them a little bit more.
I live and die on the saying that good people win in the end. And I also live to a value personally that if you do good, you get it back 10x.
Yeah.
If you do bad, you're gonna get it back 10x as well.
I agree.
Which helps me keep shit clean. But no sympathy here.
Yeah, no sympathy here, and I think best of luck to the investors. Hopefully you can claim what you've invested at the very least.
And on a side note, if you need some legal advice, I'll attach Josh's details.
So,
give us some good news.
We got good news.
Okay.
I guess actually this isn't kind of good news either. I just want to raise this issue. Surfing the internet for a long time, probably the single most annoying thing is invasive ads.
Yep.
Can't handle them. You go on a website, it pops up in front of you. You go on YouTube, you got a 30-second ad. It's It's really crazy. So we've got other things. We've got ad blocker, which we've had for a while, which is really good. Just blocks ads completely.
Yep. Do you also put your pop-up blocker on?
Yes.
When you're surfing?
So yeah, I have. So ad blocker does all of that.
Yeah.
And the way ad blocker works is that it takes money from large companies like Facebook and Google to say, hey, we won't actually block your ads, but you have to pay us quite a lot of money in order for us not to do that.
Jump over the fence.
Right. So Google, Facebook, pay ad blocker a lot of money to do that. Now, what Chrome has come along and done recently, or actually just in the last couple of days, they've introduced their own ad blocker extension in Chrome that will come custom or will come standard in every new Chrome download. So I guess...
Has it been released yet?
It's been released.
Okay, because I downloaded Chrome yesterday.
So
on my new MacBook.
Me too.
Not as nice as this.
And so, what it's trying to do, I guess, is standardize ads in the industry by making sure that the crappy ones aren't being pushed anymore. And that's really good. It seems
I'm happy with that.
It seems like a really cool kind of mission for Chrome and Google to go and do these things, but Chrome, Google, Alphabet, they have a lot of influence.
But that's an advertising business.
That's an advertising business.
Well,
and so the question is raised, and this is why I'm kind of confused, is do we let YouTube, do we let Google, do we let Alphabet control the ads that are being seen? Because at the end of the day, everyone has an agenda.
Sure.
So what's the agenda here? It can't be completely self-serving. It can't be completely selfless. There has to be some element.
So I know one of Google's values is, to be, I don't know the exact wording of the value, but it's not to be greedy and not to do wrong, right? And do no harm or something to that effect. So it's very interesting that they have an advertising business and now they're promoting.
Now they're blocking certain ads. And
blocking.
so what they do, they said, okay, we want to get people in line with a standard of advertising that we think is good. So they've come and said, to violators now, they'll go and say, okay, we'll block your ads, These because the ads fit into these certain types of categories.
Yeah.
We'll give you 30 days to change it. If you don't, we're going to block all your ads. So inherently, I think this is good for the consumer.
Yeah.
But is this good for free internet? When that Chrome has a lot of users and can exert a lot of influence over the types of ads that are being seen.
Yeah. I've got to rest my case on do no evil.
Do no evil
as a value for Google. Now, is that the same value for Alphabet? I don't know.
That's the question.
Is Chrome a different division which has a different set of values? And I don't know. I got to tell you though, I really am enjoying. I'm huge Apple, huge Safari, huge native where I can be. When it comes to like our Cubes work, everything's on GetSwift.
Yep.
And so for that, I am logged in on my browser on Safari as my personal email.
Yeah.
And I'm logged in on my work on Chrome with my work email.
Yeah.
And I'm having a great experience.
I think it's awesome.
I don't really like Google's user experience. I think some of their stuff is a little bit twisted to the way, at least I think, or maybe it's me that's twisted. Careful. But I really enjoy it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and so I think this is interesting. On the back of this, YouTube's announced recently that they're stopping those 30-second unskippable ads.
Yes.
So, is there something greater at play here?
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt, right?
No doubt. They're also sending rockets to the moon, so there's got to be something.
Yeah, rockets to the moon and ads. This is big.
Rockets to the moon and blocking people. Like, there's got to be a bigger play here somewhere, right? Somewhere between that spectrum.
So we got Snapchat.
Are they still alive?
They're still alive. Actually, Snapchat's doing well.
I heard they did well this week.
So,
and I'm happy because I have some really good friends that are at Snapchat in Venice, in Los Angeles. So, and I think about them and their families every time something bad happens to Snapchat.
So Snapchat's done some crazy things. 8.7 million new users in the last quarter.
Good on them.
72% increase in earnings compared to this time last year.
Yep.
So they're $285.7 million in revenue.
Yeah, but still, they got a long way to go.
Right, they overhauled their app and released that in January.
Don't know, deleted it.
Me too. But what they have done, which I think is really interesting, is they're looking at new ways to monetize. And I think this is distinct from Instagram, who has a lot of users, but their model thus far to beat Snapchat is just to copy it.
Right.
Snapchat, on the other hand, is looking at ways that it can innovatively get people to integrate with its app and increase, I guess, people's experience or change people's experience.
But it's great for Zuck because what's his name? Evan basically does all this hard work, and Zuck goes, "Thank you,
I'll copy that.
I'll just put that into Instagram."
So
I still call Instagram stories Snapchat.
Yeah.
Or
Snaps.
just on Snap.
Snap stories.
And everyone's like, "What?" Like, well, I was like, "Oh man, sorry, I'm back to front on that."
So what Snapchat has done recently, they've actually integrated AR in a way into their app. So as you know, you're a huge basketball fan.
Love basketball.
Recently, it was the 30-year anniversary of Jordan dunking from the free throw line.
Yes, saw that.
You saw that?
Yes,
so what Snapchat have done, all around the LA area, they've left QR codes everywhere. People could scan the QR codes and see Jordan flying through the air, and they could get in on that. And, you know, like we've seen on TV hundreds of times before, kind of walk through that really classic scene
Could
of
you stand
Jordan
underneath it like, Jordan, and he's dunked on your head?
Right. And so that would be really cool. And he wasn't moving, but he was kind of floating mid-air in this cool little image. Really cool.
He's already a hologram. He hasn't even, he's still alive.
He's still alive, yeah.
He's still unreal.
He's more than Tupac.
Yeah, well, that's the question.
That's the question.
My daughter and I, we talk about that quite often.
Really?
Yeah, Rap Wars, because she has a book, A-B to Jay-Z, and it's alphabets on rappers.
That's
so
amazing.
A is for Akon. He was a real little, and then it goes B is for Biggie Smalls. Anyway, it goes on and on. But why are we talking?
So that's pretty cool, and so that's like a cool thing to do, but it's not like extraordinary. But what they did do is that they teamed up with Jordan to kind of, for this 30-year anniversary, to also really create hype for the brand, and the way that
the Jordan brand.
For the Jordan brand. So this was all on the back of teaming up with the Jordan brand, so finding new ways to monetize.
Yeah, cool.
So what they've also done, they planted another QR code at a concert that they were holding that allowed users to scan the QR code and straight from inside the Snapchat app buy unreleased the new Air Jordans, which is unbelievable. So not only have they created hype around Jordan throughout the day through this Snapchat thing and advertising the new Air Jordans on Jordan flying through the air, but now they've given people the opportunity to buy it inside the app without leaving. So they've opened sales channels. They can sell to 187 million people like that.
Yeah.
And that's their user base.
Yeah, and each person would have bought 2 or 3 pairs for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of cha-ching.
That's a lot of cha-ching, and that was quick.
Evan, I'm very, very proud of you, my boy.
But is he cashing out? He just sold $50 million.
I heard he took 50 off the table, but he was already super.
He's invested.
But he's a billionaire, and I think when he first raised money on Snapchat,
mm-hmm.
I think one of the VC firms gave him 10 million off the table in cash.
Really?
Before they're like, hey, we want to invest, and by the way, we think this thing's going to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give you and your partner 10 million each. Put in your own bank accounts, do your thing.
Wow.
And I'm sure he's being paid handsomely. But now he's cashed out 50.
Not bad. So that's Snap. So we got ride sharing.
Yep.
You've seen O-bikes all around Melbourne. These yellow things that are just hanging out everywhere in trees. In the Yarra, there's a shit ton. We've got ride sharing, we've got Uber and all its other competitors that are coming along now.
Uber's not doing bikes though.
No, Uber's not doing bikes.
Yeah, okay.
Uber's got its own form. There's others like Taxify and all these other ones that are kind of doing something in the ride sharing game.
Yep.
But what's really cool, I think, there's a new one that's just been kind of announced in LA or in California. Electric scooters, similar to O-bikes, left around the city. Did you happen to see those when you were there last time? So they launched in September last year.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if I saw it here or there, but I definitely saw scooters.
Yeah,
and I've seen them. Yeah, no, I have.
And so they got in 6 months, they got 50,000 users, 250,000 rides. Really good. Arguably, it has the same effect as O-bike. I mean, the O-bikes are designed for 15 minutes of riding max.
Sure.
Electric scooters, arguably about the same.
10, 12 minutes?
10, 12 minutes. You're not going to do more than that. But at the same time, it's probably easier. You don't have to put in the effort.
Yep.
They don't take up as much space. They face the same kind of problems as O-bikes, though.
I actually do remember I can't remember where I was walking, but I remember seeing a scooter and going, "What's that?" And someone grabs it, and then someone else goes, "No, I just booked that." Look, I've got the confirmation. Yeah, man. I think, hey, I'm all for it. If you're going to take more cars off the road,
yeah.
Not everyone can jump in a Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hate the pollution aspect of cars. I actually really love that my car cuts out every time I put my foot on the brake.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, my car gives me 1,000 kilometers on a tank.
It's amazing.
So I'm like 1.5 months in and having to I feel good about that, but my dream is to go to the
next level.
Well, I don't know if we're going to talk about him here. Surely we're going to talk about him.
We're actually not talking about him today.
Well, I'll talk about it. I want a Tesla. There, just said it.
So Elon, if you got some spare Teslas lying around,
well, you threw one up in the moon. Toby. Sure, you can throw one in my driveway.
So I'm pretty excited for these kind of scooters to land here.
Yeah.
It's being run by an ex-Lyft and Uber exec.
How do you do that?
So started Lyft, poached by Uber, left Uber, started his own thing. He's probably learnt a lot from both those companies.
Yeah. Marketplaces are hard, man. And so, it's hopefully, he's seen both sides of that marketplace.
So hopefully it goes well. So finally, I'm just going to delve into some local news.
Mm-hmm.
The Victorian government, $5 million in funding for social enterprises.
Yep.
So they're following this really cool model that the British government followed not so long, about 10 years ago actually.
Yep.
They said all government contracts from local at the very bottom all the way through to the high-end ones tenders will only be accepted from companies that are social enterprises.
Cool.
So that's cleaners, that's gardeners. So for those who don't know, social enterprise is like just a business for good,
yep.
Or doing something good in the community. And so the Victorian government said, hey, we're going to give $5 million to social enterprises, and we're also going to say, we're also going to accept tender. We'll build a framework around accepting tender only from those companies that have a social purpose.
Great.
So I think that's really cool.
You know, I think that is where we're like. I don't think that's where we're heading. I know that's where we're heading. People are. I was watching something the other day where people were like, "Yeah, cool office man," but couldn't care about any of that. Not here, but like walked into some exec and he was sitting there with his parrot,
mahogany,
all that shit, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I don't care. Like I want to change the world. I want to do something." And that person was all about like this stuff. People used to crave this as a kid. Oh, it'd be nice to have a big house and a big car. I think that's where it was. I craved having a big house as a kid, and I used to tell my dad when I was growing up, I would get this big house. Now I've got the big house, but I don't have my dad.
Yeah.
And so it's all about the experiences and the time and the presence. And last night we had a mindfulness versus thriving presentation upstairs where a couple hundred people came. And really it's about the here and now.
Yeah.
People are always striving for tomorrow and this and that. And very few people can just chill and just focus on the here and now. And so what I love about this is they're focusing on what the problem is, but the problem has a long tail, right? And so there is a future on it, but it's the here and now. And how can they make a difference right here, right now?
And I think it's good because, you know, the UK is the leader in social enterprise in the world, effective social enterprise in the world. And I think this is just a step towards that, a step to creating socially conscious businesses, people who are focusing on social issues for here and for now.
I love it. I love it.
We got some cool news
for the people.
Cubes. You had a big article this week.
Yeah, we did.
Tell us about it.
Which one?
Orange Theory.
Orange Theory. Yeah, Orange Theory is coming to LA.
Coming to?
We're not in LA. Coming to Melbourne. I was a consumer of Orange Theory in Los Angeles, and for me as an entrepreneur, I get, and like I'm not alone, but you know, you get so consumed by your work and you're just heads down, your head's just ticking a million miles an hour. I found Orange Theory to be the best when it came to sort of that release for me and the pressure that I was on trying to create businesses and movement. So teamed up with the guys that own 11 franchises in Los Angeles. Cool. I was like, guys, I'm not the expert in the space. You guys are, but I have a community that could benefit from this. So Cubes is going into, Orange Theory is going to go, we're going to have a standalone location on Collins Street in the city, and building number 2 will be actually at Cubes, building number 2 in Hawthorne. So on the ground floor, you'll be able to go have a session, come upstairs, have a shower, have something to eat, and get to work. So we're really excited about Orange Theory, and really when I think about the service aspect of it and the impact that it can have on all types of people. But people specifically in our community, I felt like it would be a product and a service that could really change people's lives, and then they can come into Cubes and just hustle it out, and
I love it.
Hopefully go from.
Yeah, and I think that release is important. You know, gets endorphins going, you get energy.
Yep.
For me personally, the ideal time to kind of exercise, I think, would be between like 1:30 and 3:30, because if you notice where you're inefficient, you should just be efficient in the time that you know you are efficient, right? Yep. So between 1:30 and 3:30 for me would be the perfect time to go and have that release, because personally, I'm not doing great work then.
Yep.
So get me at 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 at night. I'm hustling.
Good?
I'm good.
Yeah, I noticed he leaves the light on. I look at the camera. It's 11 o'clock at night. He's still sitting there. He's like, you didn't turn the light off. And then I like zoom. I was like, oh, he's still there. I'm excited about Orange Theory. I'm excited about changing the people's lives, both here at Creative Cubes, and health and wellness is a big aspect of that.
Definitely.
So, 2 thumbs up for Orange Theory. We'll have 6 locations across Melbourne.
That's super exciting.
And hopefully, as we expand our footprint in Cubes up the eastern seaboard, we'll have an Orange Theory in each of our locations from there as well.
Amazing.
All
Toby,
right.
that's this week in startups.
Always a pleasure. We'll see you guys next week.